So I'm Ketan Patel, and I'm the founder and the chairman for Creative Newtech Limited. For work, I manage close to 300 people, and I have a family of my wife and 2 daughters. And I have one advantage that I stay very close to my office. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Meet Kagalwala. I'm a third year cybersecurity student who's currently studying in Australia. I'm a very fun and outgoing guy, and the only thing I currently manage is my studies and my part-time job together.
Okay. Should I get tea, coffee, anything for both of you? What are your preferences?
I don't mind tea.
I'll be good with tea as well. For me, the biggest thing would be focusing on experiences. Like my generation, while working or while studying, also focuses on tending to enjoy life, going out. Maybe it could be concerts, it could be going on trips, but we focus on enjoying lives. While I've noticed that in your generation, it's more of like hustle more and then enjoy later, while we try to hustle and enjoy together.
Absolutely, and that depends upon at what stage of your life you are, right? For us, the foundation was not built. For you to kind of, you went to Australia now, right? And you set up your own room or dome there, right?
Yes.
And you would have understood how you had to buy a spoon also to do that. And we had to do the same thing. So we had to build our own house, we have to buy everything, we had to send children to school, everything. So for us, work came first, then we built our foundation, and at a later stage, it was that once the foundation is built, when everything is secured, then there will be time for fun. While in your case, because your foundation is sort of secured, your parents have done well, they've built a house, they've sent you to study. So naturally, you are in the Maslow's pyramid, you are at the top end or one level above us. So naturally, you will want to experience life more. You want to try newer things because that's the liberty you have, right?
Yeah, right. That makes sense. Yeah, I agree with that.
And it's also sometimes that responsibility at your time. At our time, it was at between 18 to 21, kind of you were thought of taking all the responsibilities. Currently, that age of taking responsibility for others, for self, for you, it's much young. For you to take your responsibility came at 14 to 16. While we became adult, then we actually became responsible. But we had to then take the responsibility of the whole family, or whoever was dependent on us, whoever was near us. While in your case, that age has shifted now. Until 25, 26, actually 28, you are kind of taking care of yourself. And if you take care of yourself, means you are responsible. That's the kind of thing. That's the case. So that also shifted. So you have a liberty of spending a lot of time or doing what you like.
I agree with that, but I've also noticed that once your generation locks into this mindset that I am the one who's responsible for the whole family, once you get past that age where you're well settled in life and you've done well enough for yourself, you guys still don't tend to enjoy life as much. Like you still live as conservatively. Yes. It's not that you don't have the means, it's just that maybe you don't feel like it anymore because maybe you passed that age, or maybe your mentality has changed, that you don't want to live out those experiences as you would want to in your 20s or maybe in your 30s.
So it's like a glass ceiling, which exists, but we don't know. While talking to you, sometimes you realize that that's a glass ceiling, right? Because your brain is such that it kind of survives a situation. And that becomes the default mode for you to be, right? For us, our youth years, our middle age, everything was about surviving and building. So when you build also, you sometimes don't know whether you're built enough. That's first part. Second, most of us in our generation was kind of value for money. We were value for money seekers, right? For everything, we attach a price. And we think that's the only maximum value we can pay for that. And for our experiences also, right? So consider your travel right now. You may be quite okay to travel business class, and you will find a lot of people who can afford business class of my age who travel economic class, because the constant mindset is about whether that 8 hours or that 6 hours of comfort is equal to the money we are spending or not, right? So we become value seekers all the time. And once you have been in that default mode all the time, you will have trouble in spending a lot of money. That's the case. But if you consider the same person, he is okay to send his kid to Australia, to London to study, right? He's the same guy who did not spend money on himself, but spend money on his children, right? Because that's the mindset in that case. The same guy spends a lot of money on a wedding, but does not spend money on business travel or personal travel. So actually our life was quite compartmental. I can't get the word. It was compartments, that you don't spend money for you. You spend money wherever is needed. But when it comes education, when it comes marriage, when it comes buying a house, you spend a lot of money, because there you found value in something. That's the case. So that's how we lived our life all the time.
But as a kid, like I see that my father's doing so much for me. He's giving me such a good life, which I'm very grateful for. But wouldn't I also want that my father lives the same life, the way I live my life? Like he also gets to experience new things that he wants to do. Maybe like he won't buy bigger brands because they're not as much value for money, for example. So I would want him to do the same things as well. Not just give them to me, but for him to experience them as well.
I think the one advantage with a Gen Z is that he is comfortable in his own skin, and he is also comfortable with others, right? So when it comes to your father also, you should treat him like somebody who likes to not spend a lot of money, or he likes that kind of a life, right? So for example, it would be much more uncomfortable for him to do something which you think is, so for example, concerts. Nowadays, concerts is a huge thing, right? People spend 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 rupees for a concert, right? If a family of 4 goes, it's like you are going for a vacation.
Yeah.
In a 3 days vacation in Goa for a family of 4 is around 2 lakh rupees, and a concert is also 2 lakh rupees. Now you think that concert is a great experience, and why don't not we as a family go, or why don't dad and mom go? And probably sometimes you may get a ticket from your own pocket money or from whatever side hustle you are doing and give it to them. But going to that concert, while it makes them happy that their kids bought the ticket for them, it might be still very uncomfortable for them to really enjoy the concert. Because frankly, if you ask me also, I think all concerts are overpriced. Because what was available for us at that point of time, so the best tickets were 1,000 rupees, right? And today, if you are standing or you're far off, that ticket also starts at 4,000, 5,000 bucks. That's the case. So that's the mindset, kind of.
Okay, yeah. But in terms of like prices and stuff, there's also a lot of other factors. For example, an artist that comes to perform, they have their brand value. Plus, it doesn't seem like much big factor when you think about it, but inflation also plays a big role in all of these things.
100%.
So, like the concert tickets are really expensive, but the experience that you have, the memories that you create, wouldn't you say they are worth the money that you spend on the concerts?
It could be for you, of course, because, for example, if I had to go and listen to Coldplay, first I should know the lyrics, right? I should know the playlist. I should be able to enjoy him there, right? My genre of music is only Hindi. So for me, it could be an experience, but it could be once I have been to a cold place enough, kind of. I'll prefer an Arijit Singh more over a Coldplay, in my case. And I'm not saying that you are wrong in that place, because you can afford to do that. You have the liberty, you have the money, plus you have the understanding of that concert which is happening or the lyrics which are happening. So that could be the case.
That completely makes sense.
Yeah. And so for a Gen Z or for a young person like you, what do you think is a work life? Or what do you think is a right balance of life?
For me, ideal work life would be, if I was working as in a corporate job, it would be from me working from 9 to 5. When I finish my work at 5 for the day, there are no work calls, no work messages or anything. It's my own time from 5 to 9 again. And the weekends are mine, where I can enjoy life, maybe go meet with friends, spend some time with family, or just wind down, whatever I want to do. But in those 9 to 5 that I'm giving my job, I would dedicatedly give my 100% in there. But after 5 o'clock, I wouldn't be like on company time. I would be on my own time, doing whatever I want, and I wouldn't want to think about work or do anything related to work.
I think, and that's where a lot of people, and we have seen a lot of memes also about a Gen Z working thing. But that was applicable to everybody. So, for example, when I chose to work, the markets used to open at 12 o'clock and close at 9 o'clock in the evening. I said I'll open at 10 and close at 7. And at our time, there were a lot of people used to work only 12 to 4, 12 to 5. So it depends upon the type of a person you are actually. It's not a very Gen Z phenomena. But if you look at a life from a perfect balance, that perfect balance does not exist. Because there is no work which can only be from 9 to 5. Unless you are working at a McDonald's. Then you have a shift, you make the burgers, you serve, and you go off. Now, can that burger job pay you for your concert? I really don't know. That's the part. And if you love what you're doing, kind of, and if you're slightly open, that obviously the weekends can be yours, Saturday, Sunday, other stuff. But it can't be the barometer of your happiness. That, oh, I have a 9 to 5 job and nobody calls me after 5 o'clock. And so what do? You keep another phone, one for work, one for this. And then how do somebody depends upon you then? If I'm your boss and I can't call you after 5, and work is not that way, right? Work will happen. Life happens all the time. It will not happen between 9 to 5.
Yeah, I agree with that. But when I said 9 to 5, I didn't exactly mean 9 to 5. It was more of an example. But what, as you said, I would want an ideal balance, which I am comfortable with. And I would not keep a different phone, obviously. But yeah, when I reached outside of my work hours, I would assume that whoever's reaching out to me would be urgent. And if I had to put in time for that, I would have to be compensated for that as well.
So what would you do? You will do business or you will do a job?
And to start, once I'm done with my studies, I want to work for a couple years or maybe 3 years in a corporate, get to know my field, learn the workings of it, and then hopefully shift on to my own business.
So when you start your business, it would be a 9 to 5 thing.
No. So, but the rules of business and jobs are different, because when I'm working in a business or I'm running a business,
people working for you, right?
Yeah.
So for them, you will have different rules because you are in business.
No.
Or it would...
For them, it would be the same rules that would apply to me when I was working in a job. But me, because I'm a business owner, I'm working for myself. So there would be a different set of rules that apply to me because it's my own business. I am expected to put in more time. I need to put in more time so that it grows efficiently.
I think the modern business format is actually nobody does a job. Every unit is like a business unit in itself, and every unit is trying to maximize the profit for the organization, right? Once you are a smaller organization, say less than 10 people, it's fine. The moment you grow about 10 people, then obviously every unit is like working to make profit. And that point of time, every unit has a leader. And that leader can't be a 9 to 5. So it could be that 70% or 80% of the time you will have your ideal life. 20% of the time you may not have your ideal life. And that 80% is your new 100%. That is how, if you leave the life, that could be the place, right? And when you call about balance, will it same apply for your, say, when you go to a party? So like you say 9 to 5 and then 5 to 9. And a friend says, let's have a beer or let's sit or let's talk for a while. Then you will extend or?
I would only extend it if it was not impacting my schedule. Like, for example, if I was at a party and I decided I'm going to leave from the party at 1 o'clock in the night, and then my friends ask me to stay, oh, please wait up for some time, but I have an early start the next morning. Even though would want to stay, I would not stay because I have an early start next morning. Like,
No, but if you don't have an early start then?
and if it's not impacting my schedule or if it's not impacting my activities.
So, yes. So I think the best part is to have a frame, but that the frame can't be cast in stone. It could be the kind of a life I wanted. That's one. And that's also because you're too young right now. See, what happened to you is information is overflowing so much. And at our time, to find one guru was not possible. For you now, you can have at least 1 million guru in a day. You open Instagram, everybody is giving you gyan. Either on the right food habit, on the right work-life balance, or on the right way to live, on how to wear, what kind of shoes, what kind of clothes, what kind of air, everything. So you have 1 million gurus. And the fun factor about this is none of them are qualified. All are doing this because they want people to come in. And then you believe, right? Somebody said a balanced life is a ideal life. And so you are thinking that's the balanced life, right? And if that's the balanced life, who said 9 to 5 work hour is only balanced? It could also differ, right? So I'll say that when you are, so for us it was that no frame existed that point of time. We worked, then after a while we found that, oh, this is how and this is the frame in which we are working. And we became comfortable with that frame. But if I had gone with your mindset that, oh, this is the frame only in which I can work, it will not happen. And because you like experiences, right? Experiences can't happen in a defined frame. Experiences can only happen when you're free to go. That's the case. There are a lot of good things about your generation. For us, they taught in school health is wealth, right? But we never took care of our health. Health was always a side thing. That do everything and then health. But the amount of awareness in the younger generation like you have for health is great. So nowadays, to finish one cake also is a problem. Like sugar is a taboo kind of a word for your younger generation. And you like eating, but you also would have a healthy kind of a diet that. So that's a really, really great thing about you guys, which I appreciate, that you guys take care of your health very much. And one thing which could be better is that this generation, sometimes your generation, you are so still. Now, what's after you? What's after
After Gen Z is
Zen Alpha? Okay. So you are also now, you will also have a generation gap, right? So one thing about it, which I kind of find it slightly difficult to digest, is your generation is very inward looking and for not the right choice of word, a bit selfish also. That they are so centered for themselves that I want to first take care of my health. I want to first take care of my life balance. I want to first take care of what I want to do. And then if I have time, then I may look at the other things, right? And to some extent is good, but a lot of people like you will start practicing it. And one more thing is not taking too much responsibility or finding it difficult to take responsibility of somebody other than you. So then probably the whole humanity is at risk, because the whole society is having a model which worked for so long, right? And kind of that model is completely breaking currently. And that we don't see in India also, it's rapidly coming to India, but that you really see in the Western world too much. And you may not be the same thing, but do you think that's what, is it really right statement to put that the Gen Z is a bit selfish about themselves?
I wouldn't completely agree with selfish, but I would rather say that my generation is a bit more, well, like strong in the sense of what they want their boundaries to be. For example, if I was doing a certain task or taking some amount of responsibility, and I know that I cannot go further than this, or this is the only amount of responsibility which I'll be able to fulfill. So I would, before taking it on my plate, I would already let the person know that this is what you can expect of me. This is not something I can do completely, but I can do it up till this point. And it's just that we are more clear in our boundaries and what we want. So I wouldn't exactly go with the word selfish. It's just we've had, like, the way we've been brought up, the way we've seen things around us, we've just had a more clear idea of what we want our boundaries to be. I know my potential, and I wouldn't want to take something on my plate that I cannot completely fulfill.
But until you don't take something, you'll never know your potential, right? How do you know your potential?
But I also, in terms of potential, like when I'm aiming to complete a task, I also know my wavelength. Like, for example, how loaded I am with other stuff, what other things I have going on my plate, maybe my personal life, maybe there's some things on my mind and everything. So I also know that I won't be able to completely give my 100% to this task, maybe at that particular time.
So is it right to say that it is kind of an analysis paralysis kind of a scenario?
Yeah, like
Overthinking about everything?
yeah, maybe you could say that. Like, my generation tends to think the decisions a lot before giving a final yes or no answer in terms to whatever it may be.
Do you think that all economic strata people in your generation are similar to how you all think? Supposing we consider you as slightly upper middle class, okay? But the Gen Z may also exist in the lower end of the pyramid, right? Will you think identical to you?
It would not be completely identical, but there
No,
would
not in terms
obviously
of
be
money and all that,
similarities.
but they would have similarities.
Yeah, there would be similarities.
In that space. And why would you overanalyze? Because you are the guy who have the maximum comfort. You are the guy who can take maximum risk right now because you don't have to, you have no responsibilities except your well-being currently. So here's the time when you should actually try a lot of things do a lot of stuff, take a lot of risk, right? At our time, it was that at 22, 23, we were just fresh out of college. We were settling in life. We all already engaged or were about to get married or married. And in a year, we would have kids. So we were settling in career, we were settling in family, we were settling in life overall. We were also learning to be parents. We were learning to take all the social responsibility, right? And still we had risk appetite to try a lot of things. Whereas you have this advantage currently that till 28, 29 is the new, I think, what's the new age for marriage, or there's no age?
I think around 28, 30.
Yeah. So you have till 30, so you are only responsible for yourself. So that is the time you can take maximum risk, no?
Yeah, but if you see, my generation takes a lot of risks, but we also try to know our know our boundaries, know our potential, so that we don't take a risk that's not you always do an analysis before you take a risk. So you also know that maybe if you have a setback, you can handle it or you cannot handle it.
But the capacity to risk is only not there, no? Where is the capacity to
But
take
if you
risk?
see, there's so many new people trying out so many new business ideas. There's so many new startups coming up. In my opinion, when a person around my age, or maybe a couple years down the line, who's 23, 25, starts a startup, they are taking a risk, because what if the startup doesn't work out? When you go into a startup, and for example, someone doesn't have a family business, they don't have something to fall back on. It's something that they're giving it their all, they're 100% in. So then they don't have. So I would consider that a pretty big risk.
I think that everybody took, no, nobody is here. Kind of India's generational wealth, only few families are there. The kind of wealth what you're looking, even if your parents, if you look at us, if you look at the friend circle around you, they are all not wealthy, I'm saying, but this is first generation money, which they can spend. So they all took the risk. Only they don't use a word like startup. We did not coin a word like startup, but everything was a startup only that point of time. And ours was a true startup because we didn't have MBAs then, right? And there was no choice of line also. Now, for example, in your graduation, you can become BBA, BBB, then some management degree, some this, some that. Our kind, you could only become a TYBCom, or you could be a TYBA, that's you took humanities or arts. And then you had fewer options to get into, right? You would get into, say, the stock market, or you could become a chartered accountant, or you could become a professional doctor or an engineer. That's the case. Your time, there are lots and lots of options, right? And at your time, you have fallback also. So the term you count it as risk is not actually something which is kind of a risk which will is not like an existential risk. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm going to fail 100%. 100%.
We'll start with an easy one first. Ghosting.
Yes, my daughters do all the time, ghosting. Suddenly disappear.
You got that one right.
Yes, yes. Because I also have a Gen Z in my life, right? My younger one is that one. That's the case.
How about?
I will also give you one. Do you know checkout? So, 5, 6 people are in a conversation. No, not that checkout. You are 5, 6 people are in a conversation, and suddenly one person says, "I am sitting here, but I have checked out of that conversation."
Yeah.
So you're physically there, but mentally not there.
It's like zoning out.
No, zoning out is still different. Here is like, so this also I learned from my younger one. She said that, Dad, I have checked out. when you were having a conversation. So I said, you are sitting here. She said, yes, but mentally I have checked out. That's the case. Okay, go ahead.
How about drip?
No, I would not.
Drip is basically someone wearing fashionable clothes. And so, like, you know how you say, oh, this person's like a fashionista. So you say, oh, he's got drip, she's got drip. Basically, they're like very fashionable. And the other one, breadcrumbing.
No.
So when a guy and a girl are talking romantically, the girl just or the guy just gives them enough attention to keep them hooked on to them, but it's not complete commitment. So it's just like giving barely enough so that they're hooked on.
They also use a word woke. Yeah. This is a woke generation or woke. What is the meaning of woke actually?
Woke basically means someone who's aware of the surroundings, who knows the happenings of the world, and
Like a guru.
Not exactly like a guru.
Enlightened.
No, not enlightened, but someone who's aware, someone who cares about stuff. For example, there have been a bunch of conflicts happening around the world. Next one is Delulu.
No, I would not know. Dalulu means somebody is drunk and fallen off somewhere.
No. Is this someone who's kind of delusional, living in their own fantasy, living in their own world about a particular topic?
So, actually, what your generation is accused of. Gen Z is how do you put it? So, how do you frame a sentence on a Dalulu?
So, it's not framing a sentence like, for example, just an imaginary scenario where one of my friends who's bad at driving would be like, oh, I drive very well. And I'd be like, oh, you are so delulu. So it's just like, you are so much in delusion. It's just like that. There's no particular sentence as such. Then.
So delusion is delulu.
Yeah, someone who's in delusion. Yeah. The other one we'd go with is benching.
Benching as in our organizations have a bench for.
No. So yeah, benching is something, like how in football we have substitutions. Like, so people who are sitting on the bench. Yeah, so benching. So when it's related to a relationship, when a guy or a girl has like a backup. So if someone's benched, like the girl or the guy goes like, oh, I have benched them. That means they have the backup, but they're also talking to someone else.
Kind of pati-patni wo types.
Yes.
You had one on the side.
Yeah.
Okay. Benching.
Yeah, that is benching. And
do you have benching?
No. I have been very unlucky in that area.
But do you have a real girlfriend or you don't have?
No.
So you're unlucky both ways.
Yeah.
You didn't get a chance to bench.
No, I would not bench someone. Personally, it's not a concept I agree with.
Okay.
But yeah, I have been unlucky.
Got it.
Something goes like, have you heard of these terms like easy, hard? Yes. People using them in conversation. Yes. Are you familiar with what they mean in conversations, like in terms of Gen Z slangs?
No, enlighten me.
Easy is just something as easy, like, so like, oh, that was too easy. Like, oh, if you're deciding something and you tell me, let's meet at 10 o'clock, I'll be like, easy. So like, that works for me. And hard goes like, whoa, that was some awesome shit, or that was some crazy thing. Like, oh, the party was so hard. We partied so hard last night, or something like that.
No, I don't know, but there's a word called, I don't know whether it's a Gen Z word or no, but they say dink.
Dink?
So they say this new generation is like, dink is a double income. No kids generation.
Okay, yeah.
And why I know about dink is because it's good for the economy.
Okay.
Two people are earning and they have no responsibilities, so they are going to spend a lot on lifestyle. And that helps our business because we're into lifestyle gadgets. That's the stuff. That's the case.
Okay. But wouldn't you say that someone like a dink couple can't also afford to have a child because of all the rising costs of living?
Actually, I would say a lot of, and this is not your types, at our time also a lot of people think raising a child is a big responsibility, and whether their money is there to raise a child. I have a contrary view to that, because at our generation, the population and everything, because to raise a child, you have to be responsible, but having money will not make you responsible, right? To do the right sacrifice, to do the right thing is the case. So I never think that your resources will never allow. But again, when you overanalyze anything, right, you overanalyzing also sometimes works oppositely on your confidence, because you cannot plan anything. And when you can't plan anything, when you are analyzing a future, you don't know, right? You are analyzing the future with what you know currently. So that's the case. So this DING population is, I think they don't want to take a responsibility. Not that they can't afford to take, but they don't want to take.
Yes, but
That's the case.
wouldn't you agree that, for example, if you were to raise a child, the biggest cost of raising a child is the healthcare and education. And if you see education, it's so expensive nowadays. So my question was, when you're raising a child, two of the biggest costs are their healthcare and education. And ignoring healthcare nowadays, education, including schooling and college, is so expensive. Wouldn't you have to consider your finances and your future plans before you decide to have a child as a couple?
I personally think education is a different tangent today. If you consider infrastructure is going to get you good education, it is not the right metrics. If you think an air-conditioned school with the best playground, with the best swimming pool, with air-conditioned buses taking the child to the school is going to make them knowledgeable, no. Education can be imparted in a normal, non-air-conditioned school also. So today you are not learning anything new. You are learning the same old stuff in a 5-star environment. So you are actually paying for the environment and not for the education. So if we don't get into seeing what other people are doing, and you are okay to send your child to a convent school, he will be also as much educated as somebody going into a very this. And if you see Delhi today, the Delhi municipal people have done such a great job that today, from a free public school, you are getting the best students. Because yes, the environment has to be good. I'm not saying you can go into a dirty classroom, dirty toilets, all that. But the quality of teacher really matters. That's the part. And today's education is costly because of the infrastructure and not because the teachers are not being paid 20 times of what they were paid before that. Healthcare, of course, is a bit costly, but availability of also healthcare is there. And second is, again, you are planning a kid with the income what you have today, right? You don't know what your another 10 years are there, right? And of course, and also we believe that point of time that everything will fall in place with time. That was our motto of living life. So we never thought so much. And we're happy. Our kids got raised, we have a house, we can experience life, we can travel everywhere. That's the case. So too much analysis, paralysis will have a problem, right?
I understand that, but I feel like if
we reverse the question on education, what's your view on saving?
on saving,
Yes,
I
because
save.
if you think education is going to be costly, healthcare is going to be costly, so would you save more?
Yeah, like I already have a side hustle, and from every paycheck I get 50% goes into savings,
No, because that is because you are not sending any money home, no.
but the other 50% is going where because I live in Australia, I pay for my own rent, I pay for my own expenses, and the other 50% is savings. Let's say I end up in some tough time or in some problems, that money could help me out to get out of it wherever I land.
For you, what
Yeah.
about if your dad falls in a,
So,
they need the money?
so there's
Or when
also
you went to Australia,
yeah.
are you going to pay back everything?
In the long run, I hope so. That's my plan. But if you look
But
at
that
it
is
that
when
way,
you payable when able.
so
It is not like a loan. When you will have enough money, you will pay.
so yeah, like part by part, once I start earning full time, and in terms of me just paying for my own, like if you look at it that way, what my dad or you would earn at the stage you're at in your life and where I am at, there is a vast amounts of difference between the income. Like at this in the income that I make, I could not possibly even sustain another person if there was someone living with me, like
No,
someone
same was
dependent.
there. Life was hard for us. For example, when I did my engineering and then I went for my first job, for the first 3 months, there was zero salary. Then the next 3 months was 700 rupees. We had a peon in the office who was paid 900 rupees and I was paid 700 rupees. But the framework was very clear. My boss knew that I have come to learn here and this is on the job learning. And he knew that in 3-4 years he will start his own business. That's how the framework was then, right? Today, for example, on a side hustle, you are earning that money, which is equivalent to what we earned after this case. But I'm just saying that your today's earning, you can't think that you can't take responsibility of something, yes or no, because good will happen to you. If you expand your horizon, you expand or you come out of your comfort zone, you live life out of your comfort zone, you will be able to expand your risk-taking capability. That's the case.
Okay, but yeah, I agree with that point. But on the part of income, like, don't you think as I would grow, like in terms of age, I'd also grow in my career. As I grow in my career, I would start like my income would start to increase. When my income increases, don't you think I'd also increase the amount of money that I save? Because I know what future I am planning for. I know what goals.
What future you are planning? Like what is your goal?
For me, like obviously, I am very happy with the life my parents have given me, but I want to give them a better life. Like if they're here, I want to give them something that's above that, so that I can give them a better life. They can relax. Plus, I would want to buy a house that we're living, but better than that, a better car, just like upgrade overall. Because as you said, the foundation has already been laid for me. But obviously, you can always upgrade from wherever you are at in life. So I know what my goals are, and my savings would also be in proportion to that as my income would grow. Like, so doesn't that make sense to you?
So are you trying to live a very conservative life?
No, not really. Like,
Are you willing to take risks? Your generation is really willing to take risks?
yes, like I think my generation likes to take risks because we have something, as you said, the foundation.
So what is something in your life where you're ready to risk everything, even your savings? Is there anything for which you will do that?
That would probably be for me something like when I start my own venture, something like that.
Your venture would be in what?
It'd be related to my field, cybersecurity, something. Because I would work for, as I said before, I would work for some years after finishing my studies and then start something of my own as like a business.
So that time you will put all your savings also.
If need be, yes. Like, it depends on the need of the business at that time.
That time you will not borrow any money from your parents or something.
But that all depends on the situation at that point in time because it's quite far away right now. But I would think about it and I would explore all other options available and then select the best option available for me. Maybe it could be borrowing money from my parents, maybe it could be bringing investors from the outside, all depending on the scenario at that moment in time. 2 to 3, it would be my phone, my earphones, and if I'm wearing a smartwatch, that.
For me, two devices, my iPad and my phone.
I would say Gen Zs.
I think the boss adapts because there are so many people in the organization, everybody is a different, right? And the boss has to so the boss adapts.
AI would replace interns first, I feel, because intern handle most of the basic workload, which can be done by anyone, in my opinion.
My opinion is AI will not replace anybody. AI will just enhance the quality of work, and AI will help us to do work faster. So we'll do more work and we'll do bigger things with the help of AI.
I would say around 6 to 7.
At your age, yes, I had say 10, 12 friends, but now real friends would be 4, 5.
4 times?
0.
The Life List on Netflix.
I don't know which last movie I saw, but Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara is my favorite movie.
I wake up between 8 to 10 a.m.
Okay. Nowadays I'm practicing waking up early, so I wake up at 4 o'clock, but otherwise 6:37 was my time.
I would say The Godfather by Mario Puzo because it teaches you a lot of life lessons on how to go through life and how to react to different situations in a cool, calm, and a collected way. And I find that at my age, that really makes sense and helps me be like shape me into the man I'm going to be in the future.
I have 2 to 3 books. One is Homo Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, and it busts a lot of myth about. And the best part of the book is that he says the human race is there's no particular reason. We were lucky, and because of gossip, we survived, kind of thing. I like that. There's another book called Essentialism, and it's a great book to really understand how to get focus. And the book says the no's what you say are more important than the yeses you say. That's the case. So that's a great book. So 2 books.
So Gen Zs.
Yes, they would be. I think so. I'm more on Instagram because now our company accounts are there on Instagram. That's the case.
My favorite thing would be how locked in they are about their goals and the way they hustle to reach their goals.
I like about Gen Z is their honesty. So I find your generation very honest. I would use the word authentic, not honest. Also authentic because Gen Zs are very honest, and they have a lot of empathy also, and they are also vulnerable. That's what I like about your generation.
I'd say millennials.
I think human beings are human beings. They could be millennials, baby boomers. Everybody is different. Somebody will cry, somebody will not cry. That's the case.
Do you want to go first?
You can do.
The conversation today opened my mind quite a bit on perceiving life from different perspectives, from different point of views. Like how the debate we were having today, it helped me understand that I can have a certain viewpoint and you can have a certain viewpoint, and we can both be correct. Like, I already knew that, but it kind of helped me realize that today. So
For me, first is this generation is very confident, and they are really, really okay to express that opinion. And you really expressed what you think are your thoughts, and I really like that. Second is you want to really kind of analyze and do things, and that's a good thing. only when we overanalyze it becomes a bad thing. That's the case. And only I'll say that you can only control the controllables. So once you get that you can only control the controllables, then your analysis also will be that way. Third is Gen Zs are more like us. I think for our parents, we were the Gen Z, right? Because ordering from Swiggy or Zomato is like a taboo, or it's like a new thing. Our time going to a restaurant and eating outside was like a thing which our parents would say, how many times you are eating outside, that's the case. So I really think that out of this conversation, Gen Zs have a different lifestyle, but they are still similar to what everybody thinks like, right? That's what I think. One, and I learned lately, but I learned that sometimes the destination is only revealed in the journey. And once you want to do something, you have to start, and then you will find your way. But if you don't start, you can not find. So I hope somebody would have told me earlier that sometimes the destination is only revealed in the. I'd say 2-3 things are there. First is don't overthink. Second, what they teach in your school or in your management college is just 5% of the knowledge you need to work, right? As you told about that AI is going to change a lot of things, right? But they're hardly teaching us any AI. And by the time there were AI as a curriculum in the school or college, there would be something else, right? And that's how the whole environment is changing. So I'll tell that once you think you want to do something, you start doing it. That's one. Second, life can only be tougher in your thoughts. In your thoughts only you can make life tougher or easier. So the kids' conversation, what you were thinking that point of time is, if you think kids are a big responsibility, they are a big responsibility. If you think kids are natural and there is no responsibility, they are no responsibility. That's the case. So that's the second part. Third part is everybody in the life is shaped out of their experiences. And experience could be similar or different at different generations, right? So if we are ready to explore and work with any kind of generation, you will be able to find your match. But you should be open to do that. That's what I'll say. So what I've understood is Gen Zs do not like a very hierarchical system. And they also like a lot that they are respected and they are treated as equal. Second is they want to try a lot of new stuff and they want to challenge the normal, what's happening. And that's what we started changing at Creative also. Because when you are in consumer business and when you are into products which are experiential products, right? You require the voice of the Gen Z because they are your customers. And until you don't have a lot of Gen Zs in your system, you'll never be able to relate about how they think, how they spend, how they do that. That's the case. As a company, we still have a long way to go because there's no Gen Z in the management per se. So until we don't have Gen Zs in to manage, or at least millennials to manage, I don't think we are still capable of attracting a lot of Gen Zs.
It's great to hear that you're evolving with the times. If you don't mind, can I ask you one last question?
Yes, please.
So, I've noticed in Gen Z cultures, in offices, there's no sir, madam cultures going around anymore. It's just addressing people on their first names. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's not a Gen Z thought, it's a very American thought. About calling somebody by his name is a very American thought. And it's about the cultural part, right? In America, 15 years back also they used to call somebody by their name, right? India is a very different country. It is not about whether when you say sir, madam, it's about respect or not. But culturally, we are that way, right? So it will take a lot of effort for somebody to. It is not about the office culture. It is about the person, whether he is ready to be so much different, where everybody is calling somebody by boss or sir or that way, right? And why in office then? Then you can't call me also Ketan uncle. Then you are a Gen Z, you have to call me hello Ketan, how are you? If that suits you, then it will work for you. That's what I'm saying. So always being different is not a cool Gen Z.
Yeah.
Sometimes the cultural nuances are also much different. That's the case, yeah.
So, what would you say about those companies that are implementing this?
If it works for them, doesn't matter. If it works for them, it's fine. So in that company where everybody is calling everybody by name and you call somebody's uncle, then you are a different guy there, right? Then you are the odd one out there. That's the case. So every company's cultural is different. So it is about being authentic, right? You do what you say, and you say what you do. If the company says that we are such a culture and that it can follow that culture, is fine. But for example, in our company, even if we want to have that culture, whether the team here is also okay about it or not, because finally it's all about people, right? That's the case.
I think a hybrid model makes sense as long as the work is getting done and there's no hitches in the middle. But yeah, as long as the work is getting done.
I think there are so you can't have a same standard measurement for anything. I think somebody who's new to the company should come to the office every day, because then he has friends, he has relationship, and then after 2-3 years, if he's working from home, also works. It also depends upon the manager, right? Is the manager in a frame of mind that he can really plan that so many people are working from home and that's how we'll take the reporting and other stuff? Because a lot of them, the manager are hands-on manager. When they see somebody in the office, they will ask, they will solve that problem. That's the case. So depending upon the job type, it could be. But I would say at least somebody who's new to the company should spend at least a couple of years in the company before work from home. Then only he will feel the part of the company, right? But otherwise, if you are part of a company, but you've never gone to that company, you're working alone from that office, right? It's very lonely, right? You don't know for problems where to go home to talk to. That's the case.
I think so. A lot of companies that are up and coming more recently have been moving away from formals and into casuals. But companies that have already been there for a while are still taking some more time to evolve. I would think so. It makes a difference because when you're wearing casual clothes, you're a bit more comfortable than formals. So it helps you be a bit more relaxed and a bit more focused on your work, is my opinion.
I think this whole casual versus formal after COVID also changed a lot. So after COVID, actually, ties are now no longer a part of the fashion. And it depends upon also what kind of workplace. See, clothing helped you to make that first impression, right? So if you're meeting somebody new, then if you're in the right kind of clothing, you will not have to make so much effort. But again, it's a very cultural thing. I think advertisement companies, they don't want, if you're dressed formally, you will not fit in. And in a lawyer firm, if you're not dressed, you're dressed casually, you'll not fit in. That's the case.
Yeah, I would think so that because nowadays Gen Zs care about how they look. As you said, looks are the first impression. And we as Gen Zs try to create a good first impression on anyone we meet. So we try to put effort into our outfits, the way we look, the way our hair looks, the shoes we wear, and everything.
Same, I think if the Gen Z contributed it to it, very nice. But I think I think over a decade now, the man's grooming has been in thing, and everybody wants to look like dapper, as they say. So I think it's a trend which is going to be there, and Gen Z is going to fuel that trend. I think couple of things. The disposable income with the Gen Z is the biggest part, because the Gen Z is going to spend a lot of more money, and then it's going to save. It might be different for you, but normally Gen Z wants to spend a lot on experiences. That's one part. Second, no longer is a value for money generation. They say, let's try an experience. If it is not good, we may not try, but they will at least try that. That's the case. So I think any product which is just a product will lose its value. If the product gives you the whole experience around it of owning it, and a lot of new categories will emerge, which will be experiential categories. And I think all these categories will fit very well with the Gen Zs. So any company which gets into this category, which is premium and personalized and creates a community, and you can share your experiences in that community, that kind of products will do quite well. I think most of the business failed because the founders didn't have perseverance. I think perseverance is the single largest quality which can make or break a business. Of course, luck and the right opportunity should be there. So that's one. Second is you will have to keep tweaking your business model. Initially, if you tweaked your business model once a decade was okay. But now you have to keep tweaking your business model once every 3 years. That's the part. And third is have a solid plan, but be flexible to change the plan as you learn new things. Thank you. Thank you.